All right, guys, welcome back to another episode of The Potential Project. I'm your host, Sean Calhoun, and if you're here, it's because you're ready to reduce stress, burn stubborn fat, and get your body working with you instead of against you. On this podcast, we're all about simple, no BS strategies for fitness, nutrition, and lifestyle. This way, you can feel strong, confident, and in control. I'll give you the tools, mindset shifts, and habits to help you look and feel your best without spending hours in the gym or stressing over every single meal. Now, let's get into it. All right, guys, we're back, and today we're going to talk about money. Now, when I'm saying about money, I mean in regards to your health and how you view it. So when someone says improving their health is too expensive, what they really mean has nothing to do with money, and we're going to break that down today. Right? So in this episode, we're going to unpack what's really behind the phrase of it's too expensive and how shifting your mindset can change everything for you. So here's the reality is that health programs and gyms and things that will improve your health, they do cost money. And it's normal to feel resistance when the money conversation comes up. I'm not saying that, right? I've had my own battles with money thoughts and having my experience with money, but the reality of the world is things cost money, and we have to analyze of is it worth it and what is really the conversation that should be had rather than what is the price tag. So, I mean, look, I've had this conversation a ton of times with people. And the reason why I'm coming on here is to really reinforce what we're talking about here. We are talking about improving your health, your quality of life, maybe the length of your life, and in addition to the length of your life, what you get out of it. You know, I see some people that are suffering, whether it's poor health or mental state that they're in, and they're repeating the same year over and over again. And guess what? Over time, things get worse. So they suffer either mentally or physically or both, and then they live out their life until one day we pass away. And that's not a life to be lived. So when it comes to transforming your health, it's everything, right? It is everything. It's going to cost you a lot, and we'll talk about what it costs you, and it's not money, but it can potentially change the entire outcome of your life and transform you into worlds that you had no idea were even possible. And I get it, right? I get that it's a tough thing to let go of when you're posed with the decision of maybe do I want to join this gym or do I want to enroll in this program, and I have to let go of my hard-earned money in order to make that happen. But you see, if we're focused just on that and you think, you know, that's a lot of money or it's too expensive. Too expensive for what? Like compared to what? Right? So it's not just the money that's the block, it's your mindset. Right? So if we come from the place of money is an exchange of value and it's a currency to do so, right? So we need money to survive and it's just a currency to exchange for value. But see, when it comes to changing your health and transforming your health, it's not about money, and I'll tell you why. Because most people are already financing and leasing their entire lifestyles, right? We get mortgages so that we can live in a home, or we pay rent to someone so that we have a place to stay, right? Most people take a lease out or a loan for the car that they drive, or they spend thousands of dollars on vacations that they can't technically afford, right? These are problems, right? Well, not that they're problems, they're a part of our life, but we don't see them as problems because it's just normal. Everyone gets a mortgage, right? Because it would be kind of insane to think you had to save up that much money and pay for your house in cash. But we've normalized it so that everyone has mortgages. Everyone takes out loans and acquires debt for certain things, but for others, it's taboo. It's looked as crazy. Like, why would you do that? And if you said that in the same breath, you'd realize, oh, wow, we are, prioritizing certain things when others might be of the same importance, right? If not more. Because if we don't have our health, we don't have anything, right? What is a house worth? What is a car worth if we can't even use them, right? So it's not necessarily the affordability, it's the priorities in which we have our life set up to where, yes, I get it. We have to have a car to get to work. We have to have a home. We have to have these things. I get it. But again, let's say you have migraines and they're so crippling that you can't even get out of bed and you keep calling out of work. Well, that car that was getting you to work serves no purpose. So if we could heal our migraines and get rid of those completely, then things start to spiral upward. And that's what I mean with the mindset. It's not about is this amount of money, does that make sense for me transforming this? People who are ready to take action and are going to make the progress and the changes necessary, doesn't even matter to them, because it could be $5, it could be $5,000. They're going to do what's necessary to make change. So I really bring this up because when you're truly fed up with your current reality, like it's enough, like the pain that you're in is so great that it doesn't matter, again, if it's $5 or $5,000, you're going to make change happen, right? So if you're fed up with your current reality, the cost stops being the obstacle, and nothing can stop you from getting the outcome that you want, right? So if money isn't the real cost, what is it? What is the real cost of change? Now, there's a couple things. I'm going to break down 3 of them, and hopefully this lands with you. The first thing is effort. Effort is the first thing that is your investment and the real cost of change, because it takes work, right? Like, there is no shortage of information. You could go on Google, ChatGPT, and listen to a few more podcasts, and you can have all the information that you need to know about improving your health, or at least getting on the right journey, right? Starting off. You're not short of information. You're short of effort and taking action. So it does take effort and putting in work daily, consistently over a long period of time to see the change happen. So that's the one thing that it takes, and that's the cost to change. Another variable is time, right? It's the fact that we have our schedule set up the way we do. We go to work at certain times, we have our hobbies, we have our day laid out. And the fact of the matter is, you think you're busy because that's your normal, right? There's someone out there who's doing way more than you, or being more productive than you, or prioritizing their health more than you, and they still have the same, as we always say, 24 hours in their life. So it takes changing your schedule a bit and using time differently, right? Allocating time for maybe some meal prep, or cooking dinners at home, God forbid that we cook at home. Making some time to go for a walk, or exercise, or, whatever it is, right? Making time for yourself so that we can improve our situation. So it's going to take a change in your time. And if you really look at it, the amount of time that we're scrolling on social media, or watching TV, or doing BS during our day, could we really adjust it and allocate time for what really matters? I think we could, even if it's a little bit and you build up to it, right? So that's the second part. And the third part is sacrifice. And this is a big one because, again, we get used to certain things in our life. We get used to eating a certain way. We have our vices. Everyone has their vices where that puts them in their comfort zone. Some people, it's eating sweets. Some people, it's smoking cigarettes. Other people, it's maybe having a few beers after work. So we're used to those coping mechanisms as our way to feel comfortable. Now you get into that routine and you rely on it. Now, the sacrifice comes in a place where you're going to have to give up some of those old habits if you want to make change and get out of that comfort zone, so that, because they don't serve you anymore, right? If you're saying, hey, I'm putting my foot down, I want to improve my health, but I drink multiple times a week, or I really want to improve my health and I can't knock this sweet tooth. Some part about that, maybe you don't go cold turkey. I don't always recommend that, right? But some part of that is going to have to change, or else guess what? You're going to be in the same position that you've been for months, if not years, most likely years or decades, right? So, here's the truth, and we all know this. If you keep doing the same things that you've been doing, you can't expect different results. I once met with someone who wanted to come to the studio, and it was their first time here, and they sat down, and they looked me dead in the face. They said, Sean, I like what you got going on here, but not really a big fan of changing what I eat. Hey, hope you're loving the episode so far. Thanks for spending some time with me. I got a quick favor to ask. Make sure you're subscribed to the podcast, because that's how I know you're getting value from the show. And this way, you never miss an episode. All right, now back to the show. Like, they flat out told me, like, I'm not going to change what I eat. Like, I'll try the working out thing, but I enjoy my beers and I'm not going to change what I eat. And I looked them dead in the face and I said, man, well then guess what? You're not going to get results and I can't help you. Right? Because if you're not even willing to sacrifice a little bit and be open to it, then guess what? You know what? It's not worth my breath, and you're not ready. I'm not saying you can't change. I'm not saying you'll never make it happen. But at that time period, if that's your mindset, It's not the right time. You might have to wait for something more severe to happen. And that's the goal. That's why I'm talking about this right now. Because if you're in a position where you haven't had a heart attack or been diagnosed with type 2 diabetes or something terrible happen with your health, like a disease, then you're in the driver's seat. You have all the capabilities to turn it around, maintain a healthy, happy lifestyle so that those things don't even ever have to happen, right? But for some people, it takes them going all the way to the hospital and having a stroke or something terrible happens in their life to finally make that decision. So if this is creating a light bulb for you, if you're making thoughts happen because of what I'm saying, it might be your time to maintain it. Like right now, I think I'm in decent health, right? I think I am so far off from what I could possibly attain, right? With my energy, my mood. But my point is that I have my 4 limbs. I get decent sleep. I have, strength in my body to work out. I'm going to take advantage of that so that as life happens and as the years go on, I still can maintain this level of health. I don't think I'll ever hit, my top potential, right? Because I'm not, living, breathing, sleeping, all things health, right? I'm not perfect. But the point is that I'm also acknowledging that while I don't have diseases, while I don't have anything terribly wrong with me, I need to take advantage of that. So this is your cue to continue taking care of that, right? So another thing I want to bring up is I wrote this note down is tolerance versus transformation. So the question is how long are you willing to tolerate the situation you're in? Now, if you've ever wanted to go to a gym or start a program or improve your health in one way, clearly there's something that you'd like to improve. Or maybe you're just one of those people, again, who wants to continue getting better. And that's great. That's called transformation. But if you're not there and you're in pain or you hate the way that you look or you have terrible markers at the doctors, right, where they're saying your cholesterol is high, your A1C is high, like all these things are trending in the wrong direction, the question then becomes, how long are you willing to tolerate that? Are you willing to just go about your life having this subpar health, this mediocre situation that you're in? Or are you ready to make a change, right? The reality is, and I just mentioned this, is that people don't make change until the pain of staying the same outweighs the pain of change. So you have to realize it's gonna cause some pain and be uncomfortable to improve your scenario in any way, shape, or form. But it's also gonna become painful and become cumulatively worse over time if you don't do anything about it, because that's how health works. If there is an imbalance inside your body and we age, and it's not just about you getting another number year older, it's about compounding effects on your internal systems that cause problems and dis-ease, that's going to be a problem. And that is uncomfortable, right? So you have to pick your heart. You have to pick which challenge that you want to go through. Do you want to be in a challenge of visiting the doctors and maybe visiting the hospital and being on 9 different medications and that's your life? Or do you want to take the change while you have the capabilities and now you're playing with your grandkids and you're going on hikes and you're traveling still and you're active and you're still able to work? Sounds like a much better scenario to me. But the question I ask is, how long are you willing to tolerate it? Because if you're not ready to take action like immediately and also take extreme ownership over your actions, well then the truth is the pain is not that much. Right? Like if someone's just like, hey, Sean, I'd love to lose 5 pounds, right? That's a good goal. But if you don't really think that 5 pounds is bothering you and you're like, you know what, I don't like to be in pictures. And when we're on the beach, I wear a one-piece bathing suit. Like those are problems, but they're not that bad, right? Like you probably wouldn't pay a significant amount to make that change. You'd be like, whoa, no, I'm not ready to let go of that money in order to fix that problem because it's not that bad. Now, if you came to me and you were like, hey, doc says I have type 2 diabetes, it's only going to get worse, cholesterol's through the roof, I'm having severe pain, right? Like indigestion every time I eat, like all these things are happening. You're going to do whatever it takes to switch that around. At least I hope. There are some people that would probably still hear that and maybe not want to take the change. But that's not you because you're listening to this and you want to improve your life, right? So is the pain high enough yet? If not, when will it be? You got to ask yourself that. So here's the reality is that health isn't just about a smaller waistline or dropping a few pounds. Those things are great, and they come as a byproduct of changing your mindset and changing your habits. Your health really, it determines the quality of your entire life, right? What's your energy like? What are your relationships like? I'm talking family, friends, coworkers. How is your confidence? And what is your trajectory for longevity? Like, are you really going to be here a long time? Because guess what? I see some folks that are in their 30s, 40s, and 50s that they're not on a good path, right? They're taking the route of the people who are going to be sick in the hospital, in and out of doctors' offices for the last 10, 20 years of their life, because modern day medicine is so good that we can keep people alive even when they're very, very sick. And you don't want to live like that. You don't want to be popping pills just to stay alive to monitor your diseases, right? Let's take control of that while we can, right? So what's that worth compared to another car or an addition on your house or another vacation? The thought of living out your life as happy and as energized and as high quality as it can be, worth those things that you're already leasing and that you're already spending tons of money on, right? You see people, they got 60-inch TVs. I have a, pretty big TV in my house. I'm not saying that, you can't, but again, we spend hundreds, if not thousands of dollars on electronics, our phones, our TVs, our cars, all of that stuff. For what, right? Again, you can live whatever lifestyle you want, but if at the same time you're not willing to invest in yourself, the one vehicle that you're always going to have, that you can't exchange for a newer model, like it's you and you. You got to be with yourself until the day that you die. Your body and your mind is yours. I'm sorry, you have to play the cards that you were dealt. But don't you want to make the most out of the situation that you have? I think you do. So all I'm reminding you of is that it's not really about the money. It's about the effort, the sacrifice, and the time that you're going to have to put in order to change. But I will ask you again, is the change of change, that sounded weird, is the change of getting uncomfortable and taking a step in the right direction worth it, or is it worth it to just stay where you are? And you have to make that hard decision. And maybe it's not right now, but I just hope that it doesn't take something severe for you to realize that. Right? So again, it's not about whether you can or can't afford it. It's how long are you willing to keep paying the price of staying stuck? And I hope that is sooner than later, guys. And I just want to close out that if you ever want to enroll in something, it's not always about the more expensive the program or the more expensive the gym, the better, right? It's not always about that. But a lot of times, if I were to tell you, hey, it's $5 and I'm going to give you everything that you need, you're not going to take action on it because it's not enough to excite you. It's not enough to put you on that edge of, oh my gosh, this is serious now. So when it does cost more money, it's going to make you pay attention to it. So I'd lean into that. Take from this what you may. And if you guys always have questions, reach out to me on social media. I love to have the conversation. And if this landed with you, please share it with a friend or share it on social media so that other people can get this message. Because what I'm promoting is health. I'm not trying to sell you any scammy things. I'm not selling sneakers or some BS. It is transformation. It is your life 2.0 in a better version. So with that, guys, I hope you have a great day and a great week, and go be great. Hey, thanks for spending some time with me on today's episode. I hope you got a ton of value from it. If we're not connected on Instagram yet, let's change that. Hit me up at Sean Calhoun _. That's SEAN Calhoun _. Shoot me a DM. Let me know what you think of the show, or if you got any questions about how to level up your health. I'd love to hear from you. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you on the next episode.